Part 4, the vision and value at ground level. As a team leader, when should you be tweeting? The check-in. When you arrive at a work site, taking a picture of your tool checklist so that we know where equipment is, where tools are throughout the day. When you're breaking for lunch, or when you depart, you're in transit to a new site or heading back to base at the end of the day. We run with a physical roster form that helps us track the volunteer hours and which volunteers worked at a particular site versus another site. Maybe observations throughout the day. Are supplies running short? Should we start to think about re-upping our supplies? Any non-urgent questions or non-urgent out-of-the-ordinary events? Like, for instance, someone stepping on a nail versus having a serious accident. If it's a serious accident, we want you to call. But if it's something like Fred stepped on a nail and Mary is taking him to the clinic in Fred's car, it's probably not life or death. We want to know about it, but you don't have to panic and call us right away. So here are some additional basic tweets that we expect to be coming in from team leaders, but these are more of a two-way conversation. So a status update with worksite progress, or particular needs throughout the day, the need for additional work requests, or transportation for someone or something like lunch or additional water for the team. Maybe the homeowner has a non-urgent request or inquiry, or you get a curveball, like a television news team showing up at your site, or government officials, or maybe somebody that's very demanding and you'd really like a staff person to help out with that. Again, if it's non-urgent, shoot us a tweet versus a phone call. And sharing pictures and media throughout the day. We want to see what's happening in the field. All this is as easy as texting and reduces foot, phone, and paper traffic. It will enhance our operations. Using this private social network is a multi-tool. Again, we can do mass dissemination of announcements and also do targeted two-way conversations. The ability to monitor the field teams with minimal effort is enormous. Let's take a closer look at some of the simultaneous real-time communications that might be happening throughout the day in our ecosystem. Here I'm going to focus on the communication and relationships between the coordinator and the team leaders, base managers, and other people that are engaged in the real ground level effort. This is a diagram where you can see in the bottom middle the work request coordinator. The red arrows are two-way conversations happening, and they're happening with different team leaders and a base manager. Base manager is someone that manages the facility or site where we actually lodge and feed volunteers. So, it's the beginning of the day. The team leader, number 5, has headed out to a site and is now arrived and letting the coordinator know that they've arrived safely. They take a picture of the physical paper form known as the team roster. They upload it and tweet it. We've arrived, here's where we are, here's a picture of our roster. The coordinator sees this and knows that the team has arrived safely, knows where to find individual volunteers in case of emergency, and can help track volunteer hours per site. Another conversation maybe happening simultaneously in the Twitterverse is between Team Leader 1 and the work request coordinator. Team Leader 1 needs a copy of a new work request from the base. It may be a situation where, like at 103 Elm Street, the house is just too tight. We've got volunteers running into each other. Are there any other sites close by so I can split my team up? So think about a team in the field helping to gut and clean out debris from a house that was flooded. A lot of times this happens where you start swinging hammers and sledgehammers And as the site gets further toward where we're trying to take it, it becomes harder to work because you've got a lot of people jam-packed in a small room swinging potentially dangerous instruments. So the team leader here is opening up a dialogue between the field and the base. The coordinator sees this tweet and goes to the database to look up a site that's nearby. And they're actually going to email the document to the team leader's phone and then send a tweet letting them know that, check your email, I sent you a new work request. The reason that we're using email here is because it is more protected than the tweet. But you may be asking, well, wait a second, aren't our accounts protected, thus making our network private? Yes, but photos that we send within our private network are actually on third-party servers. It'd be pretty tough to do, but the photos can be accessed. They are in the public domain. You would have to really know how to find them. To combat this and not release sensitive information like phone numbers and addresses and particular needs of an individual, this is where we'll actually use the Gmail email account versus sending the document over a tweet or an image of a document over a tweet. The team leader receives the new work request and it's right down the street, so they're walking over to check it out. Here we see the work request coordinator and the base manager. The base manager tweets that 2 new volunteers have arrived on site and they're going to get them set up at the base and then send them over to be sent out into the field. Team leader 3 is uploading photos and videos of the worksite. This plays into our bigger picture. Remember those rings? So in the center are the conversations that we were just looking at. And as you move out to the larger rings, you have project directors and different staff members that can all see what's happening. So the tweets that are happening between the team leaders and coordinators carry added potential. So that conversation between the team leader 3 at the top middle and the work request coordinator has something else with it. The photos that were being uploaded from the field contain embedded data. Things like GPS, geocoded information, are embedded in the photos and tweets. So an intern, either on or off site, is actually aggregating all the media and populating a mapping application with our GPS tagged files. This allows us to show on a map what our impact is. We can now show the world how many sites that we're working at and what we're doing with very little effort. Now that same tweet, that same picture or video file from the field, even though it wasn't directly sent to that person, the communications manager who's very far away, the communications manager sees the same tweet and decides that the video is really noteworthy. They copy and paste it into our website. Maybe they retweet it with a different public account. So the idea here is that the public sees the volunteer's impact and donations follow. Well, it's not a guarantee, but we can all dream, right? Remember the tweet from the base manager about the new arrivals? Back in Newton, Massachusetts, a guy named Tom arranged Fred and Mary's trip to the project. Now again, this tweet wasn't directly sent to Tom, but because it's in the open network, and because he has the right permissions to view this level of messaging, Tom no longer has to worry about whether or not Fred and Mary made it there safely. Another example of aggregating information in our network in a distributed way could be when Team Leader 5 uploads a picture of her tool checklist. Now this is detailing everything that she loaded into her truck, tools, equipment, supplies, at the start of the day, and then headed out with her team. She tweets, here's a list of tools for Team 5 today, includes a picture link, and then may include a hashtag, which the hashtag, the pound symbol before a particular word, allows us to provide filters for different accounts. So, the toolbank manager, who is someone that keeps tabs of our equipment and tools and supply levels day to day and throughout the day now, can see those tweets. They're filtering using that hashtag, and they're looking for everything that is coming in that has to do with their particular job. The toolbank manager aggregates the tool checklists. This way we can verify if anything's missing at the end of the day and send somebody out to go look for it. The toolbank manager is looking for trends. Is there a supply shortage looming? Are tools breaking all the time? Should we try and get some better quality ones in the mix? Now, because these tool checklists are in use, and because they're being tweeted and they're being uploaded into our collective intelligence within our TweetDeck, if there's a team that needs a specific piece of equipment or tool that they maybe didn't have at the start of the day, the toolbank manager can search the lists and try and connect the dots. So if somebody needs the bobcat to come pull out a tree stump, the toolbank manager knows which team has that piece of equipment. Part 5. Building collective intelligence equals building capacity.